All right, here we go. Mic is up.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome on in. It is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Oh boy, so glad you could join us on this day of rest from football. Actually, I believe I read something not too long ago, said it on the show that is there a football game, Zach? Is there a football game on tonight somewhere, somehow? Because someone said there would be football every day of the week until I think the 26th of November or somewhere around there.
It is definitely possible that there is a game today.
Is there one?
I
Yeah.
can look right now.
If you
Actually,
if you have an opportunity and you're bored and you're not doing anything, maybe you could look that up. Anyways, welcome to the show. So glad you could join us. If you miss a part of the show, don't worry. Go to that ESPN 700 Sports app. It's free. Check it out. And of course, you can also go to ESPN700sports.com and you can listen to us live there as well. We love to have you. It's fun to come on. You kind of squeeze me right in the middle of the day between old Dan Patrick and a guy named Sean O'Connell. So the Sean O'Connell show goes on after me. I remember the first time I met Dan Patrick, actually. Every time I say his name, I always think of this moment. And he was, he was a fledgling sports anchor at ESPN. ESPN made a lot of those folks famous, Chris Berman, him, Rich Eisen, Stuart Scott. I mean, on and on and on. And I was walking up the steps from downstairs in the Pontiac Silverdome, so our locker room. There was a stairway that took you upstairs to where all of the offices and meeting rooms were, some of the meeting rooms in the front office and everything. And so I was walking up the stairs. Dan Patrick was walking down the stairs, and we had a rather friendly exchange with one another. So Dan Patrick is pretty amazing. He does a great job. I actually listen to Dan Patrick, and I know he listens to me as well. So thanks, Dan. You're the man, Dan, the man. Anyways, all right. Oh man, we got a great show today. Even on a day of rest, we're still going to talk about football. Of course, there were 2 Monday night games last night, and I had some predictions. We'll go over what those predictions turned out to be. Some good, some bad. I was 50-50. But pretty good on the week. So, all right. It's rivalry week. It's the best rivalry week we've ever had between Utah and BYU. Like it just goes. Oh my goodness, it's just so good, so amazing. And you would think that the folks who have been a part of it for so long, like Kyle's been around it for a long time. Kalani's been around it for a long time. Both his coaches and players, and all of their coaches, or a majority of their coaches, have been a part of this rivalry forever. And so they know that you maybe kind of tone down the public rhetoric. And I'm not so sure that Coach Whittingham did that yesterday at his press conference. Here's a moment that Coach Whittingham is asked about the other team's players. Here's what he had to say. Wow. Oh, wow. Like, okay. That's so much about this. I just love this. I love it because, first of all, Coach Whittingham is asked the question, and the person who asked the question isn't even finished asking the question. And Coach Whittingham goes, he takes in a big old deep breath and says, I'm going to do this. I am going to do this. He's like, I ain't talking about him. I'm not talking about him. I'm just focused on our team this week. Okay. Now, people can read that and go, "Yeah, it's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. You're reading too much into this. He's just trying to focus on his team." Every single coach, every single week, every single game always talks complimentary about the other team. It's like coaching when they go to their convention and it's the first class they take. Coaching etiquette 101. Here's how to sugarcoat and give the sappy, flowery, false fake. Gosh, you sure got a good team there. I mean, man, I'm so impressed with them, and they just look so good. I don't know how we're going to even play against you this week. You guys are so good, and it's just this false BS, right? Oh boy, that young quarterback, Bear Bachmeyer. I mean, that kid is really playing well. I mean, he's played in some tough games and been through some tough situations already this year, and he's answered the bell every single. Haven't lost a game. Nope. No, no, no. He said, I ain't talking about them. I don't have time for them this week. Now, that could be out of the Urban Meyer, we don't even mention that, it's the team down south mentality. I have to say I'm shocked by this. I'm shocked by it, but I'm not. I mean, and so there's part of me that says, I was asked this. I was on a show last night about the rivalry, and I was asked the question, is this Coach Whittingham's last year? And I said, yes, it is. And I believe it is. I believe it is for one simple statement. And that was, he said, I couldn't go out this way, referencing last season. And I wasn't going to go out that way. So to me, it was like, well, he was going out. And he just decided one more year. He didn't say it, but he said it. So yeah, I think it's his last year. And because of that, I think that he says, screw it. I'm not doing coaching 101 etiquette. I don't have to talk about their team. I don't have to be flowery and all this. Like he drew a line in the sand. He drew a line in the sand. He just said, I'm not going to be nice. I'm not going to be mean. I'm just not going there. All we're focused on is our team. Now, maybe he's realized that maybe there is too much focus on this game. And maybe it's why it gets so funky when you play, because it's just kind of teams just don't quite play the same, or weird things happen or whatever. And I really believe that he's trying to keep it maybe as normal as possible. I don't know, but I've never heard him do what he did. And maybe he has. Maybe I don't know, but he's always just, oh man, they got a good team, good coach, well coached, blah blah blah. He just said, we're not talking about him this week. We're not talking about. And maybe it's a psychological warfare thing that he's thrown out there. So getting back to Coach Whittingham retiring, I really think he's just like, forget it. This is my last go around. This is my last time for this rivalry ever. And I'm done. Now, what would be fascinating is, let's say Utah wins this game. And let's say that Utah goes through the rest of their season. They only have one loss. And let's say BYU goes and they beat Texas Tech, and someone else beats Texas Tech. And Utah and BYU play in the conference championship game with one loss apiece. How fun would that be? Like, really, that would, I mean, and the reality of it, and I bring up these scenarios, and it's possible, right? It's not very possible if Utah loses the game, because they'd have two losses. But it's possible if Utah wins and then they all went out. And of course, there'd have to be a little help there somewhere along the way, but not a lot. And that to me is why this is so good. That's why it's so awesome for the state of Utah. And I talked about this yesterday, and I really want to say it again today. Because for me, I really look at the big picture of things. Like, yeah, I'm a Utah guy. I played there. I'm an alumni. I broadcast the games. I love it. I love my school. I love the people up there. Wonderful people. And I'm cheering for them. I'm just, and believe me, my heart breaks. The last 2 seasons have been tough and not fun. So I'm always pulling for them, but I'm also pulling for the bigger picture. I'm pulling for relevance. The state of Utah, it's, for so long was so disrespected, so thought of poorly. And man, we have really turned some freaking corners as a state. Like we really are a shining light in this nation in so many ways. The people, our schools, our economy, our beauty. Utah, I could be the public spokesperson for the state of Utah. I could sell Utah to anybody. And it is a beautiful, wonderful place. And I'm thoroughly convinced there's not a better state in the country. Now, we may need a little bit more water. We are getting more water right now. We're a little dry on the water part, but it's not bad. There's nowhere better than Utah. And so I'm always I'm the biggest like proponent of Utah that there is out there in all areas. But especially in sports where, we have so much going on for us. We're getting, more and more professional sports. We're getting more and more recognition. We're getting the Olympics. We have these 2 football programs that are in big boy football. They've been invited to the dance. They're no longer, oh, how dare BYU go undefeated and win a national champion football programs. That's no longer that way. And I want to stick it in the nose of all of those folks around the country that think they have a monopoly on football. I'm just sick and frickin' tired of it. It drives. See, I'm even from Utah because I say frickin', right? That's our word. That's our language. And it's more meaningful than the other word. Frickin'. It's got some saliva in it. I'm going to digress for just 1 second. I was in the F word, the regular one, is said on such a regular occurrence in the NFL. It's just like breathing. Every coach, every player. And I'm this very sheltered, naive young man from this beautiful state of Utah, and I go to Miami, Florida. Anyways, I was in a meeting one day, and it was just the quarterbacks. It was me and the other guy I played with. He's very well known. I'm not even going to mention his name. Well, actually, so I'm in a meeting with Dan Marino and Gary Stevens, our quarterback coach. And I'm just curious, how many times in a 30-minute meeting that they are going to say the F word. Now, I never said the F word in that meeting. I can't say that I've never said it because that would be lying, and I have. In fact, my grandmother saw me say it on television once in an NFL Monday night game, and she was rather upset with me. So I never said it again publicly. I just put a towel over my mouth if I ever felt inclined to, and there were on occasion I did. And they've all said it, just so you know. Steve Young said it on television as well. Of course, Max Hall said it. So don't give me this, self-righteous stuff. I don't want to hear it. Most players and coaches in every school, including Utah and BYU, have said that word. Anyway, so this meeting, half an hour, 69 times in half an hour. That's how many times it was said. So, yeah, We say frick here in the state of Utah. But I'm tired. I'm freaking tired of the disrespect. And I think ESPN 1000% disrespected Utah. 1000%. And BYU. Like, and I think it's just it's you want to grow your brand, you want to grow football, and you just don't want to love the Big 12. And it's okay, because you know what's going to happen here? These schools, Utah and BYU, are both going to continue to get better and better and better. And part of what's going to drive them is their rivalry. Like, we cannot be outdone by our rival. And it will fuel further growth and expansion, and it's just going to make them all better. It's going to, I mean, it will. You watch it. It already has. In recruiting, you all of a sudden start having games like this where it matters, and you have a team that wins the conference. You have a team that goes to the playoffs. They both go to the playoffs, or they go through the scenario that I talked about, where they say they're in the conference championship. It all of a sudden becomes a really prominent story in the Big 12. And if the Big 12 is smart, then they're going to put BYU and Utah and their rivalry at the end of the regular season, where all the other rivalries are. And look, they're new in the conference. You can't just cater to every whim initially. But these two programs are the upper echelon of Big 12 football. They have a process that works. They'll be competitive. They will invest. They will find money. They will get players. They'll continue to get players. They'll develop those players, and they'll just get better and better and better. And I'm just telling you, I really firmly believe this, that they will both mutually benefit from having to compete against each other. Think about Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. The NBA was really kind of teetering. It was about as relevant as the WNBA is today. People weren't watching. You've heard the stories about the Utah Jazz selling players, trading players to make payroll. Games were not even broadcast live; they were rebroadcast on KBYU at Channel 11. If anyone remembers good old Channel 11, no one cared. And then Magic came along, and Larry Bird came along, and of course, ironically, they came along at the University of Utah in the Huntsman Center in 1979. And to this day, they basically saved the NBA, or at least propelled the NBA. I don't know. The NBA probably would have made it anyways, but they propelled the NBA to a new level. And they both have said many times, I was driven because of my rivalry to Magic Johnson. And Magic said, I was driven because of my rivalry with Larry Bird. And at the end of the day, they were friends, but they were fierce competitors. And that is really what is before us, I believe. As a state of sports, as college sports go, that there is a real opportunity to have these two rivals actually mutually benefit from one another. How cool is that? I mean, to me, I think that's the coolest thing in the world. And ESPN, shame on you. Shame on you for not recognizing this, not seeing this. And you should. I mean, there's not a more significant game in college football this weekend than BYU and Utah. At all. And I know a lot of people they say, we don't really care about the polls, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, the polls are used as a marketing tool to promote certain conferences over other conferences. because you always talk about the top 25. And if you're not there, they're not talking about you. And so Ole Miss is a paper champion. They're a paper. No. And Georgia, I don't even know how good Georgia is this year. And that's the game you go to? And is that really the big game in college football? No. I mean, it's fine. They're both in the top 10. My point taken, because they put them there so they can talk about them, so they can promote them. But are they really the story? And are they really that much more of a story than Utah and BYU? And I'm just going to tell you, no, they're not. They're not. All right. I got to get on here before I go to break. We got to talk about our baseball teams. We have adopted the Mariners and the Brewers as our official teams in the Major League Baseball playoffs. They've never won a championship. And by golly, now we're going to have a problem, because if they both end up in the World Series, who do we root for? We don't. They're there, right? They win. Actually, we picked two teams because it's like NASCAR. I don't know if you know this or not. I don't know if anyone out there is a NASCAR fan. I lived in Florida for a while, been to the Daytona 500, became a NASCAR fan. But I learned at my first race, you have to pick two players or two drivers, because more than likely one of your drivers is going to go out during the race. And if your guy goes out during the race, you're just sitting there watching a bunch of cars go around in circles. You have no dog in the fight. You have nothing to cheer for. So, but if you got two guys, then the likelihood of both of them going out is fairly low. And you always have someone to cheer for. So we're kind of hedging our bet here. Anyways, the Mariners are up 2-0 against the Toronto Blue Jays. And by the way, those two wins are on the road. So they're kind of in command of their series with the Blue Jays. The Brewers, however, lost. Now, Bryce Terang was up to bat, bases loaded. They're down 2-1. They're kind of down to their last out. And they throw the pitcher throws a inside, and Terang could have eaten the pitch and got hit by the pitch and walked, and then they would have tied up the game. And it could have changed momentum, right? And he said, I look in the dugout and I'm thinking, oh man, it's not what he said, but he says, I knew it. Everybody knows it. I couldn't tell you why I did it. I just got out of the way. That's just how it is. Now, when you're playing sports, like it's hard kind of in the moment, because your instinct, when a pitch is thrown at you, you move, get out of the way. And to have the kind of awareness, oh yeah, I should get out of the way. Or realize, man, if this is big, take this. And it was right in front of him. So then he swings it like a neck high fastball, next pitch, and he's out. Just heartbreaking loss, of course, for the Brewers. And that's a tough one for me because I'm a Dodgers fan. So it's like, but I'm with my team. We got the Brewers, we got the Mariners, and we believe they're going to win. Hey, did you know that my buddy Nate Orchard has been selected to joined the Utah Athletic Hall of Fame? That's right. The mayor of Sac Lake City and NFL superstar. And of course, you've heard of Advanced Window Products. They're Utah's #1 window replacement company. And now they have their fall special. Boy, and it's a good one. You can get $2,500 off when you buy 10 windows or more. I mean, that's an amazing deal. And they are local here in Salt Lake City, operated and owned by Nate Orchard, of course, the mayor of Sac Lake City. Yep, that's him. He's using his skills to help Utah homeowners save on energy bills with the most energy-efficient windows around. I'm sold, but how do you guys get in on this deal? I am. I actually built a home, and I got windows from Nate. So Just call Advanced Window Products at 801-850-9100 or visit advancedwindows.com. Don't miss out on the $2,500 off when you buy 10 windows or more. Give the mayor a call, 801-850-9100. You won't regret it. Advanced Window Products, building, installing, and guaranteeing the best windows in Utah. Comedian Sal Vulcano hits Utah live at the Eccles Theater October 25th. Don't miss the laughs with Sal from Impractical Jokers. Get details at ESPN700.com, or for your chance to win, tune in to the Spence Checketts, The Drive with Spence Checketts in the afternoon. All right, this is ESPN 700, 921 FM. This is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. We'll be back with, of course, some NFL news and notes.
Coming back. Mike's hot.
Oh, I chuckle, I laugh. I don't know if anyone out there just finds themselves amusing something like if people really knew how you were in your private moments, like when no one's watching you, like what would people say about you? What really goes behind the closed doors of your mind and your life when no one's actually watching, right? Uh, I will just tell you, I amuse myself. I do. I have a mind that it can be exhausting sometimes, and it's just the whole, like when I was talking the last segment about, I really look about 50 miles down the road, and sometimes it can wear you out. Like I do it when I'm driving. It's part of just, I guess, my makeup as a human being, and maybe some of it is developed because of playing the position I did in football as being a quarterback. You kind of have to look down the road. You have to see the big picture of things, and yet you have to play in the moment. So it's like you see out the future, but you got to deal with what's right in front of me. And I was actually asked that question. So I was on the Wise Guys podcast, which is Dave McCann and Blaine Fowler at BYU. And it's a BYU thing, but they're kind enough to let a Utah guy on there, or brave enough. And but I represent the UL. And they asked me a question about Kyle. And they just said, What do you think his legacy? What do you think people will remember him by? The folks at BYU, because he was entrenched there. His dad coached there. He went to high school at Provo High School. He played at BYU. Was an WAC Defensive Player of the Year. Played on some great football teams there, and was one of the great players at BYU. Very well thought of. Met his wife there. I mean, school. I mean, it was a huge point in his life, and it was an interesting question. And I want to share my response. What I think people think and will think of Kyle Whittingham. And my response was, "Where'er thou art, act well thy part." And I think he'll want people to say that when I was at BYU, I was all in. I left it all there. I did not hold back. I did not leave any regret. I was 100% into what I was doing there. When I went to the University of Utah and became the football coach there, same thing. I was all in. Like if you ever talk to Kyle Whittingham, you would never in a million years know that he went to BYU. When you talk, I mean, at times I've gone up there and I've had a blue shirt on. He goes, "Where did you get that? Like, why are you wearing that here?" And so wherever he's been all in. And I believe when he retires, he will not be hanging out. He will be gone. He will be acting well his part. And I think he's got a great family. He wants to spend time with his kids, his grandkids, his wife. He wants to go out and have a great life and do wonderful things. And I think that's part of what's made him so great in his time as the football coach at the University of Utah. And everything he's done in his life is wherever he's been there 100%. And he's done his part very well, extremely well. And it probably is his last year. And he wants to do well with him. All right. Let's go on to some NFL stuff here. Let me say this. Okay, so I was 11 for 12 going into Monday night, and I picked the Bears, right? And I think a lot of people said, "Over the Commanders, are you nuts?" And the Bears won. They came through for me. And I had originally picked the Bills. And when we were talking about this, talking with Zach on the radio here, I said, "No, I'm going to go," because I was going to change it. I was going to change the Bills to the Falcons. And I know you think, "Oh, sure you were." And I wanted to change it, but I stuck with my original pick, and because I was actually going to change the Bills, so I'd have been 13 to 14. Instead, I was 12 for 14 on picking NFL games. Now I'm not into betting, so I don't pick the line. I don't do any of that stuff. It's just who wins, who loses, because that's the world of football that I know. You either win the game or you lose the game. You don't win the game by losing the game by less. You either have the stuff or you don't. So, and in fact, I think that's how betting should be. And you know what? If you don't like the teams, then don't allow people to bet for them. I don't even want to get into betting. It's a crazy thing. So, the Bears won. Martin Kelly, my regular producer, I'm sure he's super happy right now because he's a huge Bears fan. Zach, who are you a fan of?
I'm a fan of the Broncos, and
The Broncos. So did you grow up in Utah?
Yes, I did.
And what caused you to become a Denver Broncos fan? A lot of Broncos fans in Utah.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably like Super Bowl 47, 48. No, it's 48. I was rooting for the Broncos in the Super Bowl when they played the Seahawks. And I liked Peyton Manning at the time too, and he went to the Broncos as well. And fun fact, I actually have the same birthday as Peyton Manning as well.
No way.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Are you related?
No.
You're not relations.
No, but it's kind of like a team close to home. and this is when the Raiders were still in Oakland. They weren't in
Right.
Vegas yet.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, you know what? I can rock with the orange crush, orange and blue. And I honestly, I've watched a lot of Broncos when I was growing up as well. My dad's a Bengals fan actually, so I watched a lot of Cincinnati Bengals as
Oh,
well
I
growing
played
up.
for the Bengals. I don't know
Yeah,
if you knew that.
I did know that actually.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and that's just how I kind of became a Broncos fan. And then Rams, I was like, we go to LA all the time. I got family in California, so I'm like, all right, Rams, because the Chargers are in division rivals. I can't like a team in the same division that we
No.
might plays twice a year. So, and I'm a big Matthew Stafford guy as well. I think he's had a great career as well, and I think that him getting traded to the Rams was probably the best thing that ever happened to him as well. So,
Might be the best thing that happened to the Lions too.
yeah, I mean,
Because
Jared Goff is
yeah,
balling.
it's kind of funny how that happens. Played for the Lions as well. I could do a whole like lifelong podcast from my 2 years of playing with the Cincinnati Bengals. It's quite an organization. It's quite an experience. I don't know if anyone should ever experience that or not, but they do. Love the people. Cincinnati, like I said, I could do like Cincinnati is nothing like the Cincinnati Bengals. That's what's so fascinating. And some of the best players and talent that I on those teams that I was on of any team I've been on in the NFL. Like they were, but man, they just could not get out of their own way. It was just so fascinating with the anyways with the Bengals. So here, let me throw something out at you. The New England Patriots are leading the AFC East. Throw that one out. Now, everyone's freaking out because, the Buffalo Bills, oh my goodness, they're wrecking Josh Allen and they need to figure this out and they need to get it all together and they need to do this and that and blah, blah, blah. So let me try to explain how, because Zach Robinson, by the way, is who's filling in for Martin. He's producing the show. If you're wondering out there who Zach is, that's who Zach is. And thank you, by the way, Zach. I appreciate it.
Of course.
He's doing a great job. But Zach asked me this question like, well, who do you think the MVP is? And I'm like, ooh, it's just way too early to do that. And the thing about the NFL that's really hard is it's a marathon. It's a marathon filled with moments of sprinting. Like you want to sprint, and it's because it's so exciting when you win. It's so exciting when your team's 2-0. It's so exciting when they're 3-0, and you're freaking out when they're 1-2 or 0-2 or all of this stuff. And so you get into the sprinter mindset when your exuberance or your disdain or your frustration is that sprinter's mindset. And the NFL, even though every game is like so critically important, it's the teams are so evenly matched that it's just a little tweak here and there that kind of makes the difference with everything that's going on, and it all just kind of evens itself out at the end. You're going to have a team that's what 12-5, and they've lost 5 games in the season, or 11-6. And they, six losses, that's a month and a half of the season where you lost. And so it's like, okay, we lose 2. Now we go on a run of winning 4 more, so now we're 8-2. And that's just kind of how the NFL is a massive overreaction to something that's so slow to produce. Like, to me, I'd say hands down, Baker Mayfield is the MVP right now, playing phenomenally well. And then I look at teams like, I was on 1993 Miami Dolphins. We were 9-2, and we did not make the playoffs that year. And I've been on teams that are 0, so you just have to play it through to its very end. So yeah, it's kind of crazy right now that the NFL is, the Patriots, who have been horrible, are now in the middle of everything. And then you go, well, shoot, Mike Vrabel, maybe he's the coach of the year. Now, I love Mike Vrabel. I really do. I always base a coach on, could I play for that guy? Like that to me is like the standard. And it's not, and there's all kinds of great football coaches. And I believe Mike Vrabel is one of those guys. Okay. I was kind of reading on social media and just comments. The Kansas City Chiefs played the Detroit Lions, and of course, the Chiefs had 0 penalties. And everyone is just absolutely convinced, like 1,000% convinced, that the Kansas City Chiefs are in the back pocket of the officials. The officials are in their corner. They're all of these things. And and some of the fans were saying it's impossible for a team to go through a game and have 0 penalties. And so I was like, is it impossible? Like, is it, have there ever been games where there are no penalties? I mean, I believe Utah had a game this year where they had no penalties. And I thought, well, maybe that's a bit of an overreaction. It's a fan just going, and of course it's on the internet. It's like, well, it's a mathematical impossibility to go through a game without 0 penalties. Now that is actually a true statement, but not for one team. So the most recent time that a team actually, I researched this, this isn't off the top of my head. The most recent was in 2023. So a couple of years ago, the Seattle Seahawks and the Las Vegas Raiders both had 0 penalties in a game. Since 2000, there have been only 40 games where one team finished without a single accepted penalty. Now, you think of how many games there are in a season. There's there's 14 games a week, 15 games. I don't know. There's hundreds, 300-400 games in a season, maybe more, maybe 500 or 600 in a season. So there's been thousands of games played since 2000, and only 40 games have had where one team has had 0 penalties. So it's the percentages are extremely low. So this person isn't totally wrong, but it does happen. Unfortunately, it did happen to the Kansas City Chiefs, but it's the first time it's happened to the Kansas City Chiefs in a long time. Now, both teams ending up with 0 penalties is actually never happened in the NFL. So that is very true with both teams. But one, it's a very, very unlikely scenario. So to ask yourself the question, is it rigged? Because everyone's into the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, and the Kansas City Chiefs aren't lighting up the world right now this year. But I'm going to tell you, and this is something that I will draw a line in the sand. I will stand on the sword, and I will say, from the NFL, from the league, it would be death to the NFL if they fixed games, if they encouraged officials to not call penalties on a certain team. I know for a fact that there's massive weekly evaluation of the officiating, of how every call, everything is reviewed, every official is graded. If you're not doing a good job, you're fired from the NFL. The very best officials end up officiating in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. The league would die. It would cease to exist. No one would watch if they knew it was rigged, if they thought it was rigged, if there was any smell of it being rigged. It's no. As much as you want to believe that, no. Now, from the official standpoint, and this is the frustrating part, and it's frustrating for all of us. Officials are human. They see something in the flash of an eye. And most of the times they get it right, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they miss stuff, sometimes they don't. Football teams have to go back and review the film and study what went on after the fact. Officials don't necessarily get that chance. Yes, there's instant replay, but not on everything. Not every play is reviewable. So they have to go, they just have to see the picture, make a choice in the moment. And they're human. And that's part of the, I don't know, mystique or the interest of football is because of this whole thing with the officials and that they're human. I had a high school official come up to me and I was just screaming at him and, carrying on. And he walked up to me. He says, "What's your problem?" I says, "Well, that play." He goes, "Do you think I missed the call?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And he says, "You're right. I did. So what are we going to do about it right now?" It just shut me right up. It was like, in fact, I think after that moment, I wish I remembered his name. I wish I knew who he was because I really had just a tremendous amount of respect for him. And he just said, "Yeah, you're right. I missed it." And I was like, "You are a good man. You are just to actually say that in this moment and just admit you're wrong. Good for you." And it shut me up forever, actually. So, well, I'm not as hard on officials as I used to be. We're going to take a break here and come back. And we got so much more. I got so much to talk. It's I think every day I have so much to talk about. But I hope you're enjoying the show. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. So, but I just got to tell you this, though, before we go to break. I could not see. I had vision issues, and I've had them for a long time, and I have refused to get it corrected, and I've suffered. I finally went to Weight Vision, and they fixed it, and it was incredible, and it has changed everything. It's like, wow, oh, so this is what it's like to actually see things clearly and in focus. It's like life is more vivid to me now. It's amazing, and it's just a matter of going. The procedure I had took 15 minutes. I was awake. Minimally invasive, and the downtime was not very long. They will take care of any vision correction surgery that you need. Dr. Wade is a fellowship board certified doctor in refractive lens correction surgery. He's the best. That's what I had done, and it was incredible. And it is incredible. And it lasts my whole life. And it's a beautiful thing. Well, don't wait any longer. I'm telling you, you'll have it done. You go, why did I wait so long? Waitevision.com, WAITE vision.com. All right, this is the Down and Dirty. We're coming back, with some surprises. So stick around. It's ESPN 792.1 FM.
You probably have about 9 minutes of airtime. 9. Yes. Just gotta be out by like 58, 59. Back in 15. Back in 10. Mike is hot.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome back. It is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 792.1 FM. It's Tuesday. It's the day of rest for all of you football fans. It's the only day we do not have games. In some regards, it's our Sabbath day for football fans. So rest, re-energize, refocus, and get ready for, oh boy, just rivalry week. It's coming. It's right around the corner. It's going to be, I'm so excited. I am so excited for this game. I'll tell you what else is exciting. Hey, Utah, did you know that my buddy, Nate Orchard, has been selected to join the Utah Crimson Club Athletic Hall of Fame? Yep, last Saturday he got in. That's right. The mayor of Sac Lake City, an NFL superstar. And of course, you've heard about Advanced Window Products. They're Utah's #1 window replacement company. And they now have their fall special offer. You can get $2,500 off when you buy 10 windows or more. Wow, that's a great deal. And they are a local Salt Lake company operated by Nate Orchard, the mayor of Sac Lake City. Yep, that's him. He's using his skills to help Utah homeowners save on energy bills with the most energy efficient windows around. I am sold. I did. I put my money where my mouth is. He actually put windows in my house. So you guys got to get in on the deal. Just call Advanced Window Products at 801-850-9100 or visit advancedwindows.com. Don't miss out on $2,500 off when you buy 10 windows or more. Give the mayor a call today. 801-850-9100. You won't regret it. Advanced Window Products, building, installing, and guaranteeing the best windows in Utah. All right. James Franklin was fired. And I have to tell you, I don't like it. And so many people are like, oh, no, it was time. It was time. He couldn't win the big game. You know, he had 2 embarrassing losses this year, and he just needs to go. I will tell you, I think one of the hardest things to get, and when you get him, man, you hold on to him. And that's a great football coach. A great football coach in college football can do so much for a program. And I think it's easier today, even with NIL. And I think there are times, for whatever reason, that things just don't work out on a season. And I certainly don't think it's like one of those situations where, you need to panic just for it's just so valuable to have good coaches. And you just take Ryan Day, for example. Jim Harbaugh said Ryan Day woke up and was born as a coach on third base. He's at Ohio State. He's got all this talent. He has everything. And Ryan Day couldn't win. And sure, the folks were out going, we got to fire Ryan Day. And I'm just telling you, it's so hard to win. Like I wish people really understood this. And the programs that do better are the ones that have continuity. And in my mind, Penn State is one of those places where, Joe Pa was Mr. Continuity. Like he was the epitome of continuity. And he was there a long time. And how many championships did he actually ultimately win? Maybe 2, 3 in all the time he was there. I don't know, 4. I don't know exactly, but I know it's not a ton. And I just really, when I saw this, and I know, and there's this trend, that's happening in sports, and just fire these coaches and fire them, right now. So I just really, I don't like to see it. And an interesting thing, Bill Callahan was fired from the Tennessee Titans, and in the last 4 #1 pick quarterbacks, the coach has been fired in the first year. And you're just like, whether they made it through the year or they got fired during the year. Bryce Young had it with Frank Reich. Urban was fired with Trevor Lawrence. The guy Ekubar, with the Bears, and then Callahan with Caleb. And if you ever need continuity for a young quarterback, and if you ever need patience, and if you ever need, and it's just like, nope, I'm getting rid of the guy. And it's certainly, everyone's thing, but
It's good to go.
just kind of sad to see that happen. Hey, Tim Brown from RGS Exteriors is joining the show, and this is the highlight of my day every week when Tim joins us. So we're having a lot of rain, Tim, and you guys, one of the best things you put on houses are gutters. Talk about your gutters. Why are they so good? Why should people be putting them on now?
Well, you're right. I mean, geez, last night we got even more rain. I woke up this morning to the news that we just set a state record for our wettest October in history. So the only thing that's been interesting this year is most of the rain has come at night, so people may be not seeing it as much, but it's here, and we're getting a lot of it. So, and I think really what we do different from everybody else and why it matters is that we've been doing this for so long. My grandpa had the first seamless gutter machine in the state of Utah. Personally, this is all I've done is install gutters. Obviously, I consider myself a siding expert, but me personally, I've installed, hundreds of miles of gutters. So really, we're just the most experienced gutter company around. And then I think, our awards back it up. 21 best of states, 1,200 Google reviews. I always tell people all the time, the proof's in the pudding. Don't listen to me because I'm a salesman. I'm an owner. I'm going to tell you all the good things, but talk to our customers, and I think that's what really speaks for itself.
Yeah, and I love that. You guys are not building customers. You're building relationships, and being in business so long and being people's neighbors, you want to make sure that you treat your people right, and you have this great warranty that is certainly something that gives people a peace of mind when they make a significant investment in their house and they know that it's gonna be around, it's gonna last, and you're gonna guarantee it.
No, 100%. And, I think it's kind of funny. You and I remember a couple of weeks ago talked offline about, people recognize you and when they know who you are, they talk to you a little bit. It's kind of a lot of that way because we do so much TV and media that people kind of know who I am. Well, I've got to make sure that we do a good job because the last thing I want is to some stranger to run into me at Costco and chew me out because we didn't do something right, or walk in a Walmart and have an upset customer, and that's not what we've never had that happen before, and don't ever want that. And so our goal is just always to take care of everybody because you just never know, and as long as you take care of everybody and treat everybody right, things just work out.
You do specialize in gutters, but you have a lot of other products that you offer. Specifically, James Hardy siding. What is great about that product, and why should people be putting that on their homes?
Yeah, and I think that one thing that really makes us kind of special is that we have. I've always surrounded myself around good people, and I think that's one of the reasons why we've been a successful company. And if I'm not good at something, I hire somebody that's better than me. And that's exactly what we've got is I've got the best of the best siding managers there is, guys that have been installing siding their whole lives. We've got 3 project managers that have probably got combined 100 years of siding experience. And so that really sets us apart. But why James Hardy is so good is because it's a cement-based product. It doesn't expand and contract like vinyl or wood does. And so there's you don't need to paint it like you do wood. And it doesn't warp like vinyl does. And so James Hardy siding, there's not a better product in our climate than James Hardy siding.
All right, you have some special promotions going on for people if they just complete an estimate or if they actually commit to having you do work.
Yeah, so a couple things. We've talked about it on the show like the last couple of days, but if depending on the job and what's complete, so just need to talk to the estimator to see if your job would qualify, but we're giving Blackstone grills for purchases. But for just having us out and letting us come out and try to earn your business, we'll bring out a Mickey Couture blanket. So just let the office know when you call that they heard us on Scott's show and that they heard me talk on the show, and they'll make notes and they'll bring out a blanket to all your listeners for just having us out and giving us an opportunity to earn your business.
All right, where do you go? Where do people go so they can call you? They can reach out and get an estimate and get some work.
Yeah, so call us, 801-280-3110, 801-280-3110. And then also just check us out online. UtahGutter.com is an easy one to remember, or RGSExteriors.com. Either direction, it'll point you to our company. And what I recommend is get on there, do a little research, play around with our website, learn some stuff, and call us. Let's get you done before the snow flies. And in order to do that, we really need to – I don't ever want to be that guy to say call now or else, because that's not who we are. We just want to earn your business whenever you're ready. Having said that, now is the absolute best time because winter is coming and the snow is going to come sooner than later.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait around. Get this done. Protect your investment, your home. Call RGS Exteriors, 801-280-3110, or go to rgsexteriors.com or utahgutter.com. All right. This has been the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 792.1 FM. The Sean O'Connell Show is next. Until then, we'll see you then.
All right, I'll see you on the fan.